Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much for joining me here. Hope you're having a great day and a wonderful weekend. Let's take a look at AVAX, see what's going on. I got a lot of requests for this one here. Curious if it's worthwhile adding to our position on the way down. I do, from what I recall, have limit orders at like $18, $19. So we're going to see here soon if that's a potential reality for us to get filled on that or if the price is going to reverse around. We can see this local resistance and support range here broken to the downside. So it's been a few days since we last covered this. We'll double check a few important factors here and kind of keep an eye on those levels too. So let's take a quick peek at the back end liquidation data first and kind of go from there. And while we're waiting for this to pull up, I want to say thank you and congrats to our committee for some nice profit on our Litecoin long. We've only taken 4 trades this month. And 3 of them are in profit. The last one is Solana, which honestly we're averaging about 138. Might actually close out a little bit early. I don't trust Solana anymore. Regards to that fact, is AVAX worth taking a trade? That's the question I'm getting a lot, and we're going to see if that's the case. Quick congrats too as well for our day trading plus bot. We got an automated day trading strategy essentially for our premium plus group. And this is just simple as that, just passive income. Since the 1st of February, we've netted about $439 so far on $50 per trade. So small portfolios are getting some good benefits there. So we're going to continue to tweak that and make sure it continues to find benefit for you. So either way, thanks again so much for the awesome feedback there. Don't forget to like the video. Let's go ahead and take a look at the last 7 days of liquidation here. So it's kind of sparse and all over the place. Let's see here. We can see roughly 2265 is that upper liquidation range. And as per usual, heavy liquidation right at the local support there where people took some late longs at about 1930. So we're kind of in the middle of this local range here. Nothing super crazy to write home about. But from a macro perspective, 1875, 1860 does seem like an area of potential sweepage, if that's even the right word for it, where the price might continue lower there. Now, do you short to that area just because that exists? No. We want to see kind of how the support level holds at this 1950. But between now and then, just know the liquidation delta is high to the downside. People are shorting this coin more than they are taking longs. So what do you do in that situation? You don't take a long into it. That's a simple way to understand it. This is the overall trend, easy way to identify the trend. And the trend right now is down. More people are shorting, so why go against the grain? Why run into oncoming traffic when you can run with it, okay? Or drive, however you want to, whatever analogy you want to put in there. The simple way to understand is you go with the flow, you're going to find a lot better results, okay? Same thing here as well. We take a look at open interest. We want to recognize these are kind of support ranges. Therefore, $20.20, heavy support range for AVAX. So just because we have liquidation delta to the downside doesn't mean you just short, okay? It implies that there's more people trying to short right now, and in turn, they could get squeezed out if we have a lot of support. That being said, $20.20, heaviest amount of volume in this local range outside of $22 is a rough estimate. So keep in mind, people feel like the low $20 mark is there is heavy volume there, but they also feel like it's a good place to consider adding to their position. It's a nice round number too, right? $20, that's kind of how people do it. Either way you look at it here, let's take a look at the macro and see if there's anything to identify. The best way to understand this is that we're still bearish. Every single coin right now is exuding the same behavior. So this coin is not an outlier by any stretch, okay? Still bearish in the macro. Doesn't mean you can't still find benefit in smaller time frames. It just implies that holding to the metaphorical moon, as some other people would call it, is a very bad idea, okay? You don't take a long to $60, okay? That's not how you do it. You can, however, add your spot bag and maybe secure profits in those ranges months down the road. But between now and then, holding a leverage play open for that long is just a bad idea. You're going to get chewed up on fees. So let's take a look here at some of the areas here. Once again, if you're not familiar, I always post a playout chart on our Twitter, Telegram, and Discord. It looks something like this here. It's always available for you there, just so you understand. I'm always trying to get you some insight on coins that I cover. But on the daily time frame, we're still under the 20-day SMA, under 50 on the RSI. The easiest way to understand it is there's significant bearish divergence on all time frames. On all coins on this time frame. The daily time frame is terrible for every single coin. You're not going to find one that's like, oh my gosh, hidden bullish divergence. Let's celebrate. Take along to the moon. That's not something you do right now. Okay. If you're listening to anyone else who is influencing you to try to say that or to try to do that, I would stop listening to them because it sounds like they're probably full of, you know what, full of crap. Let's put it that way. All right. Anyways, no discredit to anyone else who's telling you to take a long. I'm just saying in general, longs right now make very little sense unless you're going to be scalping and or keeping your trades kind of tight. Okay. That said, 4 hour time frame, we can recognize here We're seeing a pretty significant little divergence. We're underneath all moving averages. We're under 50 in the RSI until we break back up above that. There's not a lot of, not a lot holding us in place here. We look at MACD, it's trying to converge, but hasn't yet. These are all just consolations. You could argue that we're seeing a double bottom, which is true. A lot of times double bottoms play out because the support level holds. Okay? So there's a decent chance this $20 range is going to hold, but we don't know until Bitcoin successfully removes its head from its ass. All right, so let's just be cautiously optimistic here and recognize that the bottom is tentatively in, but taking a long right now does carry higher risk than considering a short. I'm not telling you to short, just saying in general, that's how it's supposed to work in this current situation here. And the best thing to do, because shorts are inherently more risky, and shorting into a support doesn't make a ton of sense either. You're better off waiting for a breakout to successfully occur, or you got to wait for the breakdown as well. In other words, you don't take a trade right now, but hypothetically the price comes down, breaks through its support. That's when you consider a short. You don't short into support. Inverse applies too. You don't just come up in here and take a trade right here. You wait for the price action to retest the local high as a new low, and that's where you get in. Anyways, it's easier said than done, of course, folks, because all this requires patience, and not everybody is well suited with that. Thankfully, it's one of my strong suits, and some people don't love it because I wait for opportunities that never happen. And we've taken we took our fifth trade today, essentially. So, 5 trades in 8 trading days, that's not a lot, but hey, success rate is high, and I have no problem with waiting for better trades. Once more, different strokes for different folks. Okay, so let's take a look here at Ichimoku Cloud and call it a day. Sorry, I'm getting a little wordy here. On the shorter time frame, we're seeing this with other coins too, where coins are starting to break out. We're seeing this little bit of a bullish backtest of the descending trend line. That, coupled with our local point of control, does imply that a further upside would seem sensible or probable because we're maxed out to the downside. We recovered quite nicely here. This coin's looking good on smaller time frames, but we still don't have that confirmation that we're looking for. You want to be above the cloud here, essentially above this local high. So I would say the best case scenario for us is to get a closure at about $21 or higher, and that's when you consider a long. And I know it seems crazy, folks. Why wait for a higher price point when I could get in right now and take profit there? We don't know if it's going to get up there, folks. And if it does get up there, it implies sustainability because we're above a key level resistance. Okay, so I'll post this on our playout chart here, of course, but the best way to describe this here is that AVAX is by no stretch, back on track, but it is exuding some very small time frame benefits. And what I mean by that is if you look at this chart and you compare it with Bitcoin, it's a lot better. Okay, Bitcoin is stuck on stupid in a tight little range, where AVAX has since recovered pretty well to the upside here. So if you compare those two, we're looking pretty good, and I would say a breakout, or at the very least a relief rally / recovery, is going to be much more practical at this point. So I don't think a short is recommended. If you're going to take a long, watch it close, secure profits, and just recommend waiting until we get some kind of confirmation above our local resistance, our local high. That's kind of what I like to look for. Hope that made sense. I described that correctly. Thanks again so much for being an amazing part of my life. Don't forget to hit the like button, comment below. If you want to work with me and awesome other traders in our group, community, whatever you want to call it. CryptoCash.tech is a site, link down below. Got some really good results. It's all available here for you. And we have a pretty awesome group. So just get engaged. The best thing you can do for yourself as a trader is to work with other like-minded people. You're not alone. That's the easy way to understand it. Cool, folks. Have a good one. Thanks again so much for your time. We'll see you in the next one. Take care of yourself. Bye-bye.